This year I've schooled for over 1,000 hours of creative advice from my favourite artists, looking for practical takeaways and inspirational stories that can support the creatives in this community.
Deep diver into that so it stands out from what everyone else in this room is doing, including me.
In the next 10 minutes then, I'll be trying to squeeze in a countdown of my top 10 favourite interviews and clips from this journey, cutting in some of my favourite pieces of advice that I've gathered along the way. I'm trying to make this description in the comment section below a valuable hive for the creative advice and artist interviews that this community loves. So if you found anything special that you've enjoyed yourself this year, I invite you to link it in below and let us know what it meant to you and your creative journey this year if you feel comfortable. So with 9 minutes and
20 seconds
on the clock now, let's jump into it.
Number 10, Rubin.
I'm not a great finisher. I'm a better experimenter than a finisher. So I can tinker away for a long time. But the finishing, the last piece of it, you can set a deadline there and it actually might be a good thing.
Okay, so number 10 on the list. And yes, I had to kick this video off with a mention of Rick here. With his book, The Creative Act, dropping last January, Rubin's voice became deservedly loud in this creative advice corner of the internet.
You know, we're stuck in our small story of who we are and what our lives are. It's all a choice, and we have the power to change it.
It's easy to have preconceptions about the guru-style looks and semi-hero worship that surrounds Rick online. But I would recommend reaching through that if it troubles you a little, because at the heart, this book is super reflective and focused on handing real value to its audience.
It is true that it's a snapshot in time, and it's all essentially a diary. Without knowing that, it's nearly impossible to put anything out.
At the end of this video, I'm going to be linking the first part of my 2-part series that I did on the Creative Act. But looking at the time now, we need to get on here.
Number 9, Kano and Little Simz.
I realised that I am capable of more. I've come to a place where I'm okay with it not working.
6 years ago, 2 great London artists sat down to discuss what it takes to break through, how they approach inspiration in their creative process, and what their home city of London means to them.
I find inspiration everywhere I go, but it's like I gather that and bring it home and then write.
Kano's a bit of a king when it comes to taking UK grime style rap and turning it into really fully formed albums. In the last decade, both Made in the Manor and Hoodies All Summer have given over a body of work with real cohesive storytelling and mature themes. I don't even feel the need to tell you what Little Simz is doing as an artist right now, but I'll be linking her Glastonbury set in the newsletter this week, as well as some of her early freestyle videos from the archives. And with that said, we better be moving.
Number 8, Nick Cave.
Okay, number 8 now, and this one's only just dropped. Rick Rubin again, but as interviewer now, popping up in a wide-ranging discussion with the artist Nick Cave.
We all knew fundamentally to our core that we would never be successful. No one really thought of things in terms of success, or that comes with that huge freedom, you know.
Another reason I wanted to put Cave into this video is because this year I read and really enjoyed the book on him, Faith, Hope and Carnage. It's a great one for songwriters or creatives of any kind to dip into when they're looking for motivation or just an ally along their journey. This week on the podcast, I'm going to be doing some readings from a few of my favourite books that I've read across the year. So come check that out if you're interested. And with that said, let's get on.
A long time. Bronson, Queens, New York. Shout out to everyone. You know who you are.
Number 7, Action Bronson.
So this one might seem a little bit strange in the mix here, but when I was researching my video on category creation with Action, I came across this early footage of him. It reminded me of the truth that for most artists who you see break through, there's a long tail of other projects that they've tried along the way before the one that you see. As soon as I thought about making this top 10, I knew I wanted to include this one, not necessarily because of the content of the clip itself, but that story it tells us about Action, who went from trying to build some momentum 14 years ago online to absolutely nailing audience building in both the music and food scene.
Pineapple, fried rice and fish, carve my niche.
I'm going to link that category creation piece at the end of this video, and if you're ever bored of people talking to you about the importance of niche, this could be an interesting one to go check out.
For me, I take graffiti as an art, as an expressing of yourself. And when you do historical building, when you build something and it's beautiful, I think that's the same, you know, because you put something from you into it.
Number 6, Kings and Toys.
Over the last few years, I've really got back into a love of graffiti for its public storytelling, the way it sits for free in the everyday environment, and the obsessive nature of the artist.
Individuals writing their names on walls
expressing who they are in the most minute way.
Kings and Toys is a pretty canonical look into the graffiti scene in London and Europe in the mid-90s. I came on it when I was researching my piece on alter ego, and it 100% earns its place here.
Goldie's right there. Me, I'm here. You make that character. That's what graffiti did for people. It gave people confidence.
Over on the free newsletter this week, I'm going to put a bit of a resource base down for more great videos and podcasts that I've found this year documenting the graffiti scene. And with that said, we better be getting on.
Number 5. Chloé Zhao.
This form of work and this industry breed unhealthy egos and expectations. Being stripped down to the essential, and I guess we could figure out who we are easier.
So this one hit for me when I was researching my video on filmmaking. The podcast tells Chloé's journey as a younger artist, that young creative person who tries to make a career for themselves and walks a bit of a tightrope between financial destitution and trying to make the work that they believe in.
Going forward in life, I'd rather hit the bottom than like just halfway, because I hit the bottom. So I sort of came out the other side.
This isn't some Hollywood portrayal of artistic success, but instead describes the complexity and sacrifice that lays at the heart of a lot of creative journeys. And yeah, it's just a great listen.
Number 4. Erykah Badu.
I don't know how to read music, never understood the theory, not a great dancer. I'm a cool vocalist, but it just feels really good to me.
So I couldn't talk about the journey of this channel without putting an Erykah clip in here. After watching a bunch of her interviews for one of my earlier videos, it's her words that have often come to mind when talking about overcoming pressures and other people's preconceptions in my video scripts. Recognising that a lot of what I've watched in the past is now coming up in my understanding and starting to form my own viewpoint on the topics that I discuss.
It was how I expressed my anger or pain or joy or fear or love. Never underestimate the audience's ability to connect.
Number 3. Tyler the Creator.
Alright, we're on to the podium now, and if you've been around it for a bit, you'll probably notice that Tyler's a bit of a staple. Not only because he was the first artist that I featured that really kicked up the viewership on this channel, but because he embodies the confident and multidisciplinary approach that a lot of creatives aspire to. And also DOGTOOTH was obviously a little bit of me this year.
Because of the way that like iTunes and Spotify things are mixed loud and super crisp and our ears up, they expect every single thing to sound like that and not taking in consideration what texture is. So when I made the Wilshire song, just sitting in a chair like this, and a mic like this, and I said, keep it. Because at that moment I said, I won't ever feel like this again for this situation. And I put all that emotion there.
Again now in the newsletter, I'm going to be putting a full list of all my favourite interview pieces with Tyler over the years. And with that said, it's time to jump into the top 2.
I couldn't resist him. His eyes were like yours. His love was exactly your
Number 2. Amy
brown.
Winehouse.
So I'd seen parts of this Amy documentary in the past, but it never really hit for me until I jumped in it in detail for my video on her. I'm a huge fan of the archive-based documentary storytelling here, and the story of Amy as an artist existing in that toxic, pressure-filled time in the UK music scene is a really valuable and interesting one to spend a couple of hours revisiting.
I think the more people see of me, the more they'll realise that all I'm good for is making tunes. So leave me alone and I will do the music.
The soundtrack for the movie became a real staple in my own listening. So if you like that kind of music, I'd really recommend you go check that out as well for some more acoustic-y and less listened to songs from her discography that really demonstrate some of the level of writing on display there. And with all that said, it's time to jump into number 1.
Number 1. Mac Miller.
Okay, honestly, sometimes I struggle bringing up Mac Miller in these videos because there's always a question that comes along with it about whether I'm being divisive with his material or going there too much. This is always a valuable question to revisit with this kind of stuff. But I'm putting this video at number 1 here because it's always been one of my personal favourite performances from Mac Miller in terms of style and the fact that he's just playing some music with his mates. This is also a bit of a sign off on my journey of releasing my videos on swimming this year, and a shout out to the community in terms of the support and sentiment that came back around those. The comments and people getting in touch with me about those pieces has definitely been a huge highlight in terms of this channel. Right, I don't want my perspective to be the end of this journey here. So again, that invite to link any interviews, podcasts, documentaries, books, anything that supported your creative journey over the last year in the comments below. As always, a huge shout out to the Patreons who are supporting this material for others. Thanks a lot to everyone for watching. And yeah, peace. See you next time.
It was 2 weeks in a row, right?
2 weeks, yeah.
Wow.
Today's Monday. Might be 3.
Yeah?
Might be 3.
Did you just expect the success of this song when you recorded it?
No. To me, I mean, I never think about that when I'm making music.